Yeah, Mortal Engines, man. What can you say? I wish I had my cousin Mason here to help me out with this one, because coming out of this movie, I'm gonna just cut to the chase. It's not good. It's not great. It is a lot of cool ideas that unfortunately get destroyed by utter movie cliches and really like unconvincing character tropes and just performances in general here. It's pretty sad. It's really sad. So you've got this interesting kind of character they build up in the beginning with this lead role, and it's kind of like, oh, this person killed my father, prepare to die, you know, Inigo Montoya essentially, but the female version of. And I'm like, okay, I buy it. She's obviously wants to get on this place, kill this dude, and get to it. And there's this interesting thing that they have here that they heavily allude to all of the movie. It's called municipal Darwinism. Yeah, municipal Darwinism. Man, they start throwing that phrase out all the time, and I think they forgot what it actually means. So in the beginning, they allude to the fact that we experienced a apocalypse level event where these weapons of mass destruction got used on our own cities, and the surviving cities ended up deciding that they would motorize, literally, and swallow up more cities into them. So it's an interesting concept. Literally, you have these floating fortresses that are on wheels, you know, just going about whatever's left of the planet Earth on the crust. And they move, and they're motorized, and they capture other cities, taking their resources, their people, and their knowledge unto them. So it's an interesting concept because some of the scenes here are really cool, where you get this, like, London is a massive, crazy behemoth, and it kind of reminds you of those moments in like Jaws or something, where you'd see the monster like open up and just, you know, go in for the kill. Literally, these cities are called predator cities for a reason, and it's really interesting seeing how that action plays out. But the problem here is it's all style over substance after the first act. In the second, in the third, the pace is so weird here. And you can't really follow all of the characters with what they're going through, because every line that they say is it's too much of a cliche. They don't spend enough time on these characters, developing them, and making you convinced that they're going through certain things. For example, this lead role here, she has a budding romance with this other person, Tom. And they play this like, well, you got in my way and you ruined me, you know, succeeding my mission that I've had for 8 years. And you're like, yeah, you should be pissed, man, fuck that guy. But then like 2 seconds later, she's like, I guess I'll save you, here's a Twinkie. And you're like, okay, I mean, I guess they're both stranded now, fine. And then all of a sudden, it's like, I'm really interested in you. You love him, don't you? You know, like, and it just happens. Like, weren't you pissed with this guy 2 seconds ago? Man, it's so ridiculous. And it's such a pity too, because I hear from the books that because you have more time with these characters, those cliche like YA young adult moments are just not as terrible as they could have been here. And it's sad too, because there's a really intriguing character here in the lead villain. This guy, Dr. Valentine, like, he is, at the beginning, painted as a morally gray, kind of ambiguous figure. Obviously takes advantage of situations. But it seems like he has some type of ethics guiding him. Some type of reason for his actions. And you don't really buy it after a little while, because then he just starts becoming incredibly cutthroat, killing people off just to do it. And it's like, you saved yourself like a couple minutes by doing this action, dude. You just don't buy it. So he becomes in a very short span of time this incredibly just like formulaic villain. I'm a bad guy. I'm going to ruin the wall. And it's weird too because his character's like, you're a dinosaur to another bad-ish character, and, you know, we need to change the way things are done. Municipal Darwinism can't survive. And then he blows down, he's going to destroy this other place, this, like, other wall, so he can essentially do the same thing inside the walls. How is that different from what you're doing now? You're just doing it in a different area of the planet Earth. It's still municipal Darwinism! God, it's just such a pain in the ass when these characters don't live up to what they're trying to do in like the first act. Second and third, terrible train wrecks. And ultimately, all you have is really interesting special effects. And granted, the special effects are cool. I will give the movie credit where credit's due. There's some incredible like action and crazy cool moments. And with a concept that you won't see anywhere else, with these like floating cities, these larger than life guns and things like that, it's kind of crazy and cool. But you can't just have CGI and not have the reason to back it up. And it just feels like they needed an excuse. And when you do that, especially to something that's a book to movie adaptation, you need to be careful. And I think one of the core criticisms of My Cousin Mason was that it really does, in the second and third act, go way too fast. And it doesn't take the time to develop certain characters that should be developed. And it's a pain too. There's an actually interesting other character here called Shrike. And he's like a resurrected, like zombie-ish character, but not quite. He's more machiner than man, twisted than human, but there's a little bit of a soul there. And they take some time to get to it, but it's too fast. And so you don't completely buy the turn when ultimately it's revealed his moral reasons are good and la-da-da-dee-da. Mortal Engines is worthy of a watch if you're interested in the source material because you wanted to see if it could be done. And special effects-wise, cool. Action-wise, kinda cool. Plot, characters, overall performance, not executed well, didn't work. My cousin Mason, who's read all the books, can attest to it. And I believe in him, and I definitely know what I saw. It's not worthy of a watch. Not in my opinion. And ultimately it lands somewhere in the 4. It really feels bad by the end of the movie too, because it is just at such a breakneck pace that you don't buy anything. So I wish I could say I liked it more, but hey, if you liked it out there, comment below and let me know, because I would be interested in seeing your take, because I know my Aunt Karen, she did enjoy this movie when she got to see it with us. So it's like a 1 out of 3 on the scale of people who enjoyed it. So take that what you will and let me know what you thought in the comments below. And as always, let's watch what's worthy.